Okay, so here we have the ultimate job hunting dashboard that I made for academics that are transitioning to industry. I basically just put this together while I'm applying myself to jobs after my PhD in neuroscience, and I thought it would be a great tool for all of you. So if you don't follow me already, I have an Instagram at c.beliveau.science. Happy to see you there. All right, so basically we have the dashboard here. On every page, there's a little section with a light bulb that tells you how to use the page. So once you're comfortable with the template, you can actually click it and delete it. And then you'll be able to have a much cleaner version of the database. Okay, so the first section here, we have a simple navigation, so you can go to all the different pages. Here you can upload your working CV or resume so that you are always adjusting it for each job that you are applying to. Same thing with the cover letter. Here you have a clock. In the clock, you can customize it just by clicking on this arrow over here. In this section, you have auto-updating quotes that you can refresh with this little button. And then we have one of my favorite parts of the dashboard, the daily habit tracker. So right now I have, engage on LinkedIn, visualize your dream job, practice interview questions, apply to job, learn for 30 minutes, message a new contact, and say an affirmation as my 7 habits that I would like to track. And so on Monday, when you do them, you can just click them off and the progress here auto updates. What's really cool is that every Monday at midnight around or 3 a.m., this will reset so you have a clear checklist for the week. If you click on all here, you can actually see your average for each week in terms of your progress. So none of your data is lost even if this auto updates. Here we have a Pomodoro timer that you can just click start and it starts a countdown. You can have a short break, a long break, and of course you can customize everything as well. In this next section, it's all about goals. So I show you here a little bit how to write SMART goals, things that are achievable. And then we basically have these one database that links to each other. So in the goal gallery, you're able to visualize your different goals. And what's really cool is I added these buttons. So here the goal is post 15 times on LinkedIn by March 9th. And so once I make one post, I can click add one and it auto updates my progress bar here. That's the % complete. Once you have completed your goal, you can select completed and it will auto filter out. Here we have the same database, but in a different view. So you can see apply to 15 jobs, you've applied to 8. And so it's just 2 different ways to visualize the same thing. When you click on this, so when you make a new goal, you get this page and you can just put in the title of the goal. You can add in your due date and then have you done, let's say 2 of them out of the 18 that you're supposed to do. And it auto calculates your % complete. Next, we have a little career planning section that I put a lot of thought into. I've read a lot of books about how to leave academia and enter industry from different professionals. If you want those, I have them reviewed on my Instagram. And basically this kind of is just something that I put together based on all the things that I've learned out of all the career panels that I've been to and all the books that I've read. So you can see here that I've designed 2 different exercises for you to do. One that helps you align your core values to your dream job. So I just added in, a lot of values here. You can always add your own. And then basically you could rate each value on how important it is for you. So, here's intellectual challenge. If it's not in the job, it's a deal breaker. It's also maybe something nice to have, or it's a non-negotiable for you. And so here I just added a little area where you can actually write your justification for your rating so that if you ever get lost in the sauce during the interview process, you can actually come back here and remind yourself why remote flexibility would be nice to have, for example. To add a new one, you just say new page and you type it in. Of course, everything here is modifiable. If you don't like my little emojis, you can just click here and delete the little emoji, for example, or change the color of the selection. In this side, you have academic skills to industry equivalent. So a huge part of leaving academia and going into industry is changing your language. So for example, if you're really good at grant writing, you're also really good at writing proposal and developing proposals and budgeting strategically, right? Got me? So here I have a lot of examples for you that are very common for academics leaving into industry. And of course, you can add your own. I also have a little status bar here where you can choose whether you mastered this skill already, whether it's kind of a work in progress, or if you want it. And so this will just help you organize kind of where you're going during this job search. The next thing we have is a planner. So in this planner, again, we have one database that is just viewed in two different ways. So you have a weekly summary here that can auto update from your calendar view. So for example, right now we are February 6th. So it is showing from Monday to Sunday of February 6th. If we take this one here from the 18th and move it to the 4th, we will now see it here in Tuesday. So it auto updates every week. So you can just go out and fill this calendar. You can just click plus over here, add in your tasks. So let's say email HR back, and you can put a priority. So low, medium, or high. I would say that's a pretty high one. So once you're done, you can click done, and it will remove it from your weekly summary. You can also add directly to a day just by clicking new page and adding in the task. And let's say it is due on Tuesday so that it shows up here. So another way to add a new task on this page is by clicking the new task button, and a page will pop up that you can fill out, add a due date and a priority, and it will be added to your calendar view. So next we have the application tracker, and basically this is where it all stemmed from. This is what I was originally using all alone in an Excel sheet. And then when I brought it into Notion, I really upped the game here. So I have an example entry that's been completely filled out. So you can put in the date of your application, the name of the company. You can upload the job posting because sometimes they'll delete it before you're in the interview process and then you're kind of lost in the sauce. You could upload your tailored resume for this job as well as your tailored cover letter for this job. So those are what you should be looking at when you're in the interview process. We're going to skip this one here and go straight to status. So what's your status in this? Are you interviewing? Have you applied? Are you successful? Did you decline the offer? You can change all of those as well. Have you heard back from them at all? Yes or no? Where is this? Is it remote? Is it in Canada? Is it in the US? You can, again, change all of this. How did you apply? So was it through the company website, which is always what I recommend, or was it Indeed or LinkedIn? And what have you completed so far? So have you done a technical assignment? Have you done a presentation? You can add that in all there. The last thing here that I think is really cool is that you can put in if you have an internal referral or not. So we will get back to this because I need to show you something else first. And then when you put in a company, this template will pop up. So I put in some prompts for you so that you can prepare for your interviews for the company and role specifically. And then also a space for you to recap the interviews that you had. What went well, what went wrong, what kind of questions did you get? All to prepare yourself for the next role if you unfortunately don't get this one. So another way that you can add a job to this is you can say add job application, and then you can enter all your information. If you, for example, just open an empty one like I did, you can just move it to trash so it doesn't end up in your table. The next thing we have is the network tracker. So this is kind of what we need to understand the internal referral on the application tracker. And so here I made a page where you can actually track your network, because nothing is worse than finding out that your favorite company is hiring, but you don't remember who you know to refer you from that company. So this will solve all your problems. Here, if you click open, you can see I already have an example. Let's just put this in center peak. I have an example. So I entered myself, my company. How did we first interact? What's my email, or what's their email? What's their phone number? What is the date of your last contact with them? And then what is the follow-up date? So something really important about networking is that you need to follow up. You don't want to just speak once and then that's it, because then when you need a referral, you can't really depend on your relationship. So you could put a follow-up date, 3 months in the future, 6 months in the future, whatever, and you can turn on a reminder. Now, if your Notion is always open, you'll get the reminder. If not, it will be in your notifications, and you could also set up to get an email. Add in their LinkedIn profile and what's their status on referring you. Have you asked? Haven't you? Yes or no? And then just generally important details about them. Where did they go to school? What did they study? What's special about them? Why did you contact them? Then what are your questions if you have an informational interview with them? And then a place for you to write your notes so that you know where you left off for the next time. When you want to add a new network contact, you can actually click this button and a new page will pop up for them. Now, once you put in your contacts here, you can go back to your application tracker, and in the internal referral, you can add whoever referred you. And then instead of just writing their name, you can actually click and see all of their contact details. And last but not least, we have a practice interview questions database. So I have over 50 questions in here for you to practice your general questions that you might receive and your behavioral questions that you should be answering with the STAR or SPAR method. So let's start with the general question area. Here, I have a set of 21 questions where when you click on the question, you can start filling out the answer here. Once it's finished, you can click on the status, so you can change it to done, and it will go into your done list. And so I have, of course, an example one here for you. When we go down to the behavioral question, it's the same thing. So we go to do, you click on a question, but instead of just having one answer, it's actually categorized as situation, task, or problem, action, and result, because this is the way that you should be answering behavioral questions in interviews. And so if we go to done here, you can see exactly what I mean. So we have, tell me about a time you had to manage multiple priorities with a tight deadline. So what was the situation? What was the task? What was the action? And what was the result? Okay, and last but not least, we have your prepared questions for the interview. So I gave you 10 over here that you can use when they ask you, do you have any questions for us? Because you should never say no. You should always have questions prepared to show them that you prepared for the interview, you're interested in the job and the company. And that's it. I hope you find this dashboard really useful. Honestly, it's been a game changer in my applications for jobs. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't already have this and you're watching this on YouTube, you can head to cbellevoscience.com. It will be linked below where you can purchase this template. And if you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at c.bellevo.science. Thank you.